Do you want to make a raised garden bed out of pellets that will last you more than one season, but you don't know where to start? You came to the right place, because in this video I will show you how to make one with zero carpentry skills and with only hand tools. Many of you probably don't have the skills or tools to make a complex raised garden bed. That's why I wanted to design a simple pellet raised bed that everybody can make, with simple hand tools that you probably already have. So without further ado, let's start making an elegant raised bed out of pellets. For this simple build, you'll need a handsaw, a hammer, 16 nails and 2 pellets for one raised bed. The pellets are heavy, so to bring them closer to your garden, you can simply roll them. Optional for this build is a tape measure and some kind of tool to pry the boards. You will only need to pry the middle board of the pellet, so you can do it with a hammer, but using a special tool for the job is just easier. Sometimes you will break the only plank you're supposed to pry, but don't worry, we'll need this plank to make your raised bed more beautiful, but the raised bed can be functional without it. So stick to the end to see how upgrade the raised bed to make it last longer, and of course, to make it more pretty. Now that you have the middle plank pried, you can start sawing your pellet in half. Measure how tall you want your raised bed to be and mark that on the boards. You can mark the measurement with a pencil or with a nail. Just make sure to mark the same distance on both sides of the pellet. That way, when you cut them, you will have two identical pieces that in the end will become two sides of your raised bed. The pellets are strong and beautiful, so it's a shame that most of the projects involve destroying the whole pellet. So instead of destroying the whole pellet, my design uses the basic structure of it, to retain the strength of the pellet and of course the beauty of it. So you need only 1, 2, 3 cuts to split your pellet in half. Sawing is not always easy, but in this case, where you cut the pellet wood, which is soft, it's pretty easy. And when you have the first piece cut, you can repeat the same cuts on the other side of the pellet. To cut the other side, you can help yourself by putting the piece that needs to be cut on top of the other half, and that way that the boards would be lifted from the ground, giving you some room to cut them. Or you can cut it when it's upwards, but the pellet will be more wobblier, so you need to be more careful. One note here is not to throw the scrap pieces away just yet. We'll use them later on. Six cuts per pellet wouldn't be too much, would be? And now it's time to put together all the cut pieces and make some minor upgrades to improve the longevity of your raised beds. When putting your sides together, alternate between pieces turned up and pieces turned down. You need to hammer 4 nails per corner. So for the nails, if you're into recycling, you can reuse the pellet nails, but I prefer to use new, stronger ones. For me, the easiest way to build the raised bed was to nail first the top part of the corners together and then carefully turn the raised bed and hammer the bottom parts together. When nailing, just be careful to line your parts nicely so that in the end, the raised bed will be squared. I used the scrap pieces that were left from cutting the pellet in half as a platform, to lay the sides so that they're all at the same height. Voila! The basic raised garden bed made out of pallets is built. And now it's time to make some upgrades to it. Coming up. Before we start to upgrade the raised beds, I need to transport them into my new garden. They are quite heavy, but if I place them on my shoulder, I can transport them to their desired location alone. But before transporting them to their final destination, I need to clear the space of all the soil that was left from the previous raised beds. The first upgrade you can do on your pallet raised beds is to use the middle planks that you pried at the beginning as a top border. This will uplift your raised beds from a simple pallet raised bed to a nicely designed raised bed. You can screw or nail the planks, but I prefer nails, because they fit into the theme of the pallets. If you think about it, pallets are put together with nails, not screws. The second way you can upgrade your raised garden beds to last you longer is by putting some kind of liner inside. I will do this before filling them with some free soil in the upcoming videos, so subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss that. Another upgrade that I did is one that I saw from Terry King, a YouTuber that I'm watching. The whole point of this upgrade is to lift the raised bed from the dump soil, so the wood won't get wet and soggy after some heavy rains. Because in those conditions, the wood will degrade even faster, especially the soft pallet wood. I did that with nailing 3 nails in each corner. I used a scrap piece of wood to make sure that all the nails are nailed on the same depth. Also, I put a small stone slab on each corner so the nails wouldn't sink into the soft ground. By doing this, I managed to lift my raised bed a good inch from the ground, and I think this will be enough to allow the wood to dry faster after a heavy rain, and in the end, this will result in a long-lasting raised bed. Will you construct one? Just type yes in the comments to let me know. And if you want to know what are the 5 easy to grow vegetables for your new raised bed, click on the video that popped on the screen. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see how I finish the garden. Happy gardening!